Today's lesson is called Heidelberg. Majestic castle ruins above, winding medieval streets below. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
I'm Roger. Today we're going traveling and we're going to Europe. We're going to Germany. As you know, they were having record temperatures in Europe last summer, but it's November now, so it's probably cooled off and it's a good time to travel there, especially to Germany. And maybe you've already been to Munich or Hamburg or Berlin, places like that. Now you'd like to go someplace different. Maybe you ought to consider going to Heidelberg because, I guess, according to our title here, it has majestic castle ruins and it also has winding medieval streets.
Yes, Heidelberg is where you want to go if you want to see old Germany. Most of Germany was rebuilt and looks quite modern because of World War II. Yes, during World War II, Germany was bombed into submission by the Allies, so a lot of those great cities were destroyed, okay? But Heidelberg apparently escaped that bombing, and for that reason, a lot of cool old stuff remains there. So if you do want to see old Germany, you should take a trip to Heidelberg. Anyways, folks, with that, let's go ahead and start reading from our article. We'll do so right after this.
Heidelberg, majestic castle ruins above, winding medieval streets below. The World War II bombing that destroyed many of Germany's cities and towns mostly skipped Heidelberg. Today, this leafy university town welcomes millions of visitors who come to admire the romance of its historic old town every year.
大家好，首先我们看到的单字是 majestic， 这个字是形容词，表示雄伟的、庄严的。举例来说 The billionaire lives in a majestic villa made of granite and marble. 那位亿万富翁住在一栋花岗岩和大理石打造的别墅中。又或者说 You'll definitely be awed by the majestic scenery of the Grand Canyon. 你一定会被大峡谷的壮丽景色所惊艳。接下来我们看到的单字是形容词 medieval， 表示中世纪的或中古的，也可以念作 medieval。举例来说 Many of the people who came to the festival were dressed up in medieval clothes. 许多来参加庆典的人们穿着中世纪的服装。又或者说 Jason keeps talking about the history of medieval Europe. He must be passionate about it. Jason 一直说着中古世纪欧洲的历史，他肯定对他有极大的热情。
Okay, everybody, let's talk about today's article. And first of all, we're going to talk about the title here. We're going to Heidelberg, which is a small city in Germany, in southwestern Germany there. And I guess they have this majestic castle there. Majestic means having to do with something that is majestic, like a majesty, like a king or a queen. So it's really royal. It's really fantastic. And of course, since the castle is not perfect, we're calling it the castle ruins, what remains of the castle. And that's above, I guess, on a hill, but below the mountain there, you've got winding medieval streets. Medieval or medieval, sometimes people pronounce it with an extra syllable there. That just means having to do with the Middle Ages, 中古时代, as you say in Chinese. And that, of course, is referring to medieval European history.
Sounds good. Majestic castle ruin. So the castles aren't really intact. They're kind of broken down. No one lives there anymore, let's say. But they are majestic. They're beautiful. They're wonderful to behold. They're great. They're big, fantastic, fabulous, stupendous. You guys get the idea. And yes, down below there, though, they have really old European streets. Medieval or medieval streets. So there you go. Like I said before, if you want to see old Germany, Heidelberg is the place to visit. Anyways, the World War II bombing that destroyed many of Germany's cities and towns mostly skipped Heidelberg. And I believe I alluded to this during the introduction to our program. Yes, during that war, Germany was bombed over and over and over again, and a lot of the big cities in Germany were reduced to rubble. Heidelberg, though, escaped this fate for the most part, or you could say here that, yes, it mostly escaped this fate. Yes, this bombing mostly skipped Heidelberg. So yes, here we have this adverb mostly, and this adverb means for the most part. So Heidelberg was kind of left alone when it came to this bombing during World War II. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at an example sentence here. You could say, he left his meal mostly uneaten. Yes, he barely ate a thing.
So I guess they bombed a little bit of it here. Otherwise, they would have said it was totally skipped. This is a similar situation in Japan, which involved bombing of Tokyo and Osaka and places like that. But Kyoto was spared, or the bombing of Kyoto was mostly skipped. Okay, they just did not bomb Kyoto during World War II for some reason. And I never thought of this before. I guess the same thing could happen in Europe. After the Allies bombed Germany, they decided to skip Heidelberg for the most part. Now, today, this leafy university town welcomes millions of visitors who come to admire the romance of its historic old town every year. And that's probably the main reason people travel to Europe. They want to go see those old towns in France and in the Netherlands and in places like that, and also in Germany, but they especially go to Heidelberg because they want to admire the romance of its historic old town. Now, of course, we're describing Heidelberg, first of all, as being leafy, which means it has a lot of leaves, it has a lot of trees there, and we're saying it has the romance of its historic old town. Now, romance here could have to do with love. People go to Italy for romance. Perhaps they're going to have their honeymoon or something there, but in this particular case, it's talking about sort of feelings of nostalgia for the past. And yes, you might go there with your husband or your wife to feel extra in love, but romance here is kind of like a love for the past.
That's what nostalgia is. It's a love for the past, or it's a feeling of warmth for the past. So if you go to Heidelberg, you'll feel like you're reconnecting to something from a long, long time ago that doesn't really exist in other places. But more generally, yes, romance is a word that means having to do with love and falling in love and stuff like that most often. For example, you could say, Jody will only read books about romance. That's the only type of book she will read. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take our first break, but don't go away. The second part of today's lesson will be coming up right after this.
It's not only tourists that throng Heidelberg's medieval streets. Plenty of Heidelberg University students pack the town and give it a youthful air. The school was founded back in 1386, making it not only Germany's, but also one of the world's oldest surviving universities.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 throng， 当及物动词用时表示挤满、聚集某地。例如The crowds thronged the MRT station on New Year's Eve. 人群在跨年夜时挤满了捷运站。当不及物动词时表示蜂涌、涌向，后面常接 around 或 to。举例来说 When the team lost, plenty of football hooligans thronged to the city plaza and caused some serious damage. 当球队输球时，许多足球流氓蜂涌至城市广场，并造成极大的破坏。
All right, if you're planning a trip to Europe, you might want to go to Heidelberg to visit the place and admire the romance of its old streets and its big, majestic castle. But here in the second part of our lesson, it says, it's not only tourists that throng Heidelberg's medieval streets. Plenty of Heidelberg University students pack the town and give it a youthful air. So yes, we could say it's a touristy town. Tourists from all over the place go there to check out what it has to offer. They're checking out the medieval streets and that big castle there, but you've also got plenty of students going to Heidelberg, students from Germany itself, or from around Europe, or from other countries. They go there to study at Heidelberg University. And, of course, because you have all those students there, it's giving it a youthful air. Youthful means having to do with young people. So yes, if you're kind of tired of hanging around people who are 50 and older and you'd like to hang around young people, this is the place for you. It has this youthful air. You could say that about any university. They tend to have people who are in their early 20s there. And, of course, the town is packed with those students studying for degrees in various fields.
There you go. Students pack the town, or Heidelberg is just filled with students from Heidelberg University. So, of course, this place has a youthful air. It seems young. The place seems like it's filled with the energy of the young. That's the way it feels to you, or that's the way it would feel to you if you were to visit. Yes, youthful is the adjective, and it means young or feeling or seeming young. Anyways, that's enough about these students. Let's talk about Heidelberg University itself. It says next that the school was founded back in 1386, making it not only Germany's, but also one of the world's oldest surviving universities, which is super cool.
How cool is that? Okay, so that means this is a really old university, and you can bet that a lot of old buildings are still standing there. You can really get a sense of being in ancient Europe there. So it's one of the world's oldest surviving universities. How about that? Okay, let's move on now to the third and final portion of our lesson for today. It's quite long, so please listen carefully.
The jewel in the crown, though, is the ruins of the magnificent Heidelberg Castle. It sits on a hill, offering grand views of the old town streets and Neckar River below. Built of red sandstone, it's quite the sight when lit up at night. Head to the castle's cellar to see the world's largest wine barrel, which can hold nearly 60,000 gallons of wine. Another must-see within the castle is the magical German Pharmacy Museum. There, visitors can check out hundreds of bottles and jars containing medicines, some of which have been used since the Middle Ages to treat all kinds of diseases. One of the more curious ingredients to look out for is human fat.
"第三部分我们看到的单字是 sandstone， 这个字是名词，表示砂岩、砂石。举例来说，Archaeologists are trying to collect the dinosaur fossils from the sandstone. 古生物学家正试着从砂岩中挖掘恐龙的化石。又或者说 A trip to this town wouldn't be complete without paying a visit to its most famous square, which was built of white sandstone. 如果没有到它最有名的以白色砂岩打造的广场参观，就不算有到这座小镇旅行过。今天的最后一个单字是 pharmacy， 这个名词表示药房、医院的配药室。举例来说 Some medications are only available at pharmacies if you have the doctor's prescriptions. 有些药物必须要有医生的处方才能在药房取得。又或者说Ben had a headache last night, so he went to a 24/7 pharmacy nearby to get some pills for tentative treatment. Ben 昨晚头痛，所以他到附近24小时营业的药局买了些药丸，暂时治疗。
Okay, so far we've learned about Heidelberg, okay? We learned about Heidelberg University and the fact that Heidelberg wasn't bombed into submission during World War II. That's what we've learned so far, but what about majestic castle ruins, huh? Let's learn about these right now, okay? As far as Heidelberg is concerned, The jewel in the crown, though, is the ruins of the magnificent Heidelberg Castle. So there you go. By the way, here we've got the word magnificent. Okay, the word magnificent and the word majestic are quite similar. If something is magnificent, it's super great or wonderful or amazing. It might be super big and also amazing. Okay, so usually when I use this word magnificent, that's what I want to refer to. Not only is it great and awesome, but it's stupendous and big in size as well.
Yeah, whenever I get the chance, I want to check out the majestic, magnificent mountains of the Central Mountain Range here in Taiwan. So we're talking about this great castle in Heidelberg. We're describing it as being the jewel in the crown. The crown, of course, is the thing that the king or the queen wears on his or her head. But the jewel there is even better than the crown. The jewel is usually quite big. It's probably going to be a great big diamond. So basically the best part of Heidelberg is Heidelberg Castle. It sits on a hill offering grand views of the old town streets and Neckar River below. Okay, so that sounds like a good setting for a castle on a hill. And if you go up on a hill, of course, you'll get a great view of the city below. More specifically, you'll have grand views or really great views of the old town streets below. And there's a river down there as well, the Neckar River. If you're into looking at rivers and old streets, you're going to have a great view there, and you're going to get some really fantastic pictures.
So there you have it. Those are the majestic castle ruins. We're talking about the magnificent Heidelberg Castle, and we're talking about where it's situated. Remember, these ruins are above, and yes, this castle, it sits on a hill. It's above Heidelberg there, or the rest of Heidelberg, I should say. Now, more on these ruins. Built of red sandstone, it's quite the sight when lit up at night. So you'll want to go there and see these ruins, but you should probably go there at night, okay? Because that's when these ruins look best, okay? That's when they look their best, I should say. Yes, these ruins are quite the sight when they are lit up at night. Then there's more. It says head to or go to. Head to the castle's cellar to see the world's largest wine barrel, which can hold nearly 60,000 gallons of wine. So there you go. You've got a really old university, Heidelberg University. That's one of the world's oldest surviving universities. And you also have the world's largest wine barrel. So what are you guys waiting for? Buy your tickets to Heidelberg right away. Anyways, you've got to go to the cellar to see this wine barrel. But what is a cellar? A cellar is an underground place or room that's beneath a house or a building or a castle that's used for the storage of wine and other things too. But here we're talking about a wine barrel, so it sounds to me like this is a wine cellar.
Yeah, it's similar to a basement, although when I was a kid, the basement in our house did not have wine or coal down there. It had a room down there with a TV, so a basement in a house is just a place where people live. But if it's a cellar, you're storing things down there, like wine in a big barrel. And that barrel can hold nearly 60,000 gallons of wine. That's a lot of wine, and it's going to make a lot of people really happy. Now, another must-see within the castle is the magical German Pharmacy Museum. So if you're in that castle, there are plenty of things to see, and something you've got to see, something you must see, is that pharmacy museum there. The magical German Pharmacy Museum. Well, unless you're a pharmacist, maybe that sounds kind of boring. Why would I want to go look at drugs and medicine? But they're saying it's magical here. I bet there are quite a lot of things in that museum to check out.
There are indeed. There, visitors can check out hundreds of bottles and jars containing medicines, some of which have been used since the Middle Ages to treat all kinds of diseases. And yes, one of the more curious ingredients to look out for is human fat. Ugh, human fat. Where would they get that to treat illnesses and stuff like that? I don't even want to know.
Right, okay, but in any case here, this museum dates back to the Middle Ages, so there are certainly going to be lots of things to check out, and what the heck, take pictures of stuff and post them on your social network page. All your friends are going to be very, very impressed. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today's lesson. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny， 今天要帮同学们整理 which 当关系代名词的几种常见用法。我们先读到课文第二部分的最后一句 The school was founded back in 1386, making it not only Germany's, but also one of the world's oldest surviving universities. 这间学校创于1386年，不仅是德国的，也是世界至今仍然存在最古老大学之一。同学们可能会很疑惑，这个句子里面又没有 which， 是不是搞错了？好，其实逗号后方的 making 它是由 which makes 简化而来的，那这时候 which 是用来代指前方整个子句。The school was founded back in 1386， 也就是指这间学校创于1386年的这一件事情。而 which makes it not only Germany's, but also one of the world's oldest surviving universities, 就表示前面说的那一件事情使它成为不仅是德国，也是世界至今仍然存在最古老大学之一。好，那当我们用 which 来代指整个子句的时候，这是非限定用法， which 的前面要加逗号。那我们还可以把 which 省略，再把主动动词 makes 改成现在分词making， 那就变成课文的句子咯。接着读到课文第三部分，有一个句子是 Head to the castle's cellar to see the world's largest wine barrel, which can hold nearly 60,000 gallons of wine. 前往城堡的酒窖，看看世界上最大的葡萄酒桶，它能装入将近6万加仑的红酒耶。好，句子里面的关系代名词 which 是用来引导关系子句去修饰先行词 the world's largest wine barrel 世界最大的葡萄酒桶。那由于这个先行词它是独一无二的事物，不需要限定它的范围，所以这边呢它用非限定用法，也就是要在 which 的前面加上逗号。那 which 引导的这个关系子句功能就是用来对先行词做补充说明。例如 Longshan Temple, which was built in the 18th century, is a popular tourist attraction in Taipei. 龙山寺是台北相当受欢迎的观光景点，它是在18世纪建造的。好，那我们这个例句它的先行词 Longshan Temple 龙山寺它是明确的对象，而关系子句 which was built in the 18th century 就是用来对龙山寺做补充说明，说它是18世纪建造的。最后读到课文倒数第二句 There visitors can check out hundreds of bottles and jars containing medicines, some of which have been used since the Middle Ages to treat all kinds of diseases. 在那里，游客可以看到数百个装着药物的瓶瓶罐罐，其中有些自中世纪以来就用于治疗各种疾病。那句子里面的 some of which 它是用量词加上 of which 来表达先行词当中的什么什么。举例来说 many of which 就是指先行词当中有许多， some of which 表示先行词当中的一些， one of which 就表示先行词当中的一个，等等等等。例如 Mia has 3 cats, one of which was adopted last week. Mia 她有3只猫，那其中一只是上礼拜领养的。好啦，以上是这些重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Majestic. Majestic mountains surround the small, peaceful town. Mostly. Clark mostly gets his news from the internet. Romance. The softly lit restaurant was the perfect place for romance. Throng. People thronged the area in front of the stage and waited for the concert to begin. Youthful. Bright colors can give you a more youthful appearance. Magnificent. The presidential palace is full of magnificent furniture. Cellar. Before refrigerators, food that needed to be kept cool could be stored in a cellar.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.